You guys all know me as a Call of Duty guy, and I will, obviously, I will always be defending Call of Duty no matter what the moves are that they decide to make. I'll criticize when it's necessary the Call of Duty scene, but all in all, guys, you know that Call of Duty and Battlefield have been two franchises and really two fan bases and two communities that have been at each other's throats. It's like Star Wars versus Star Trek. It's Marvel versus DC. Battlefield and Call of Duty, it's almost like you can't like both of them. You have to love one of them and hate the other. And for some reason, guys, I'm just not that guy. I love all of these communities in a major way. Sure, Call of Duty, in my opinion, is one of the big three. That being the three best franchises of all time. That being, of course, Gears of War, StarCraft, and Call of Duty. They're the big three, in my opinion. But everybody's got their own big three. So, that's the beautiful thing about being humans, guys. We can all have our own opinion. But what I want to talk about here is as much at each other's throats sometimes these two communities can be. Battlefield has a special place in my heart, guys. I still absolutely love this franchise, and I want nothing but the best for it moving forward, and I'll tell you why right now. So, guys, in this last segment of the show, I want to talk about Battlefield 6 and everything that we want in this game. And when I say we, guys, I'm mainly talking about myself, but I know some of you guys may share this, similar opinions. And if you don't, let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to see in Battlefield 6. So let's get right into it. So, guys, Battlefield 5. I finally finished the story missions of Battlefield 5. It took me a long time, but I finally was able to beat all of them a couple of months ago. And the story missions, guys, they do a fantastic job. I'm not going to lie. When I play Battlefield and I played Battlefield 1 and these story missions they're very interesting. They're just they're different, right? You're playing what is, like historical events and such, and I think it's really interesting. I really love the concept of it. I do miss like a full-blown campaign, but the missions themselves are very interesting. Each one is different in its own way, and that's what I really like about what they've done with the last couple of, Battlefield games and the story missions. So, to start here, guys, with Battlefield 6, the first thing that I want to see them do is move in a direction of, okay, so they did, with Battlefield 1, that was World War 1, and then, of course, Battlefield 5 was World War 2. I want to see them go back into the future somewhat. Kind of be like a Battlefield 3, kind of moving us in the direction of the future. Not going like Call of Duty did with jetpacks and things of that nature, but what I mean is going in the future somewhat. I think it's what everyone's ready for, because I'll never forget, with the Call of Duty and the Battlefield communities, one way that these worlds kind of merged was when Infinite Warfare was announced by Call of Duty, or of course by Activision and Infinity Ward. Infinite Warfare was a game that the Call of Duty community did not want at all. They were very, very upset that they were going into the, continuing the jetpack era with this game. And so a lot of people decided to jump onto Battlefield 1 because this was a game that was also getting announced the same time. And pretty much everybody from the Call of Duty scene jumped onto Battlefield 1 and absolutely had a great time with it. And then, of course, when Battlefield 5 came out, it was like vice versa. It was like all the Battlefield people decided to come to Call of Duty because Call of Duty was kind of getting back to its, the boots on the ground feel. Staying very grounded and kind of going futuristic with Black Ops 4. And so with Battlefield 5, a lot of people didn't want to play World War II or play, one of the World Wars again. They were much more so wanting to kind of play something a little more futuristic. And so they moved over to Call of Duty. And so it's very interesting how these two, even though both these fan bases have been at each other's throats, there's times where they kind of, they merge, right? And so now, where are we at? Well, we got Call of Duty with Modern Warfare. fantastic title in my opinion, the best campaign of the entire series in my opinion. Warzone's awesome, and I just think that they've done a fantastic job overall with Modern Warfare. Now, that being said, with Battlefield, okay? Battlefield 5, I don't think by any stretch of imagination it was a bad game. I think that they actually, there were things that were wrong with it, obviously, at first, but then, of course, they're updating, and they started, bringing out some really great content, in my opinion, for the Battlefield 5 community. So, my second big thing, other than having like a full-blown campaign, I think it's really important to have a full-blown campaign, putting things into perspective, getting used to some of the new weapons in Battlefield 6. Hopefully, like I said, it's going to be in the future somewhat, either modern or futuristic. And so we can kind of get used to the weapons and kind of, the story. We got to get a new story and such going with Battlefield 6. My second biggest thing is one of the biggest reasons why I thought that Call of Duty was somewhat superior to Battlefield for a while was that Battlefield never really evolved to the Call of Duty standpoint where having maps in the multiplayer world that were much smaller, very small maps that you're fighting on. They did it to a degree, but overall, Battlefield has relatively larger maps as a whole. And so what I'd love to see them do is really make some very small maps, kind of like what Call of Duty does. You look at Call of Duty right now, they took some of the formula from what worked for Apex. They took some of the formula that worked from Battlefield. They took some of the things that worked from other games, made it their own, and there you have it. The biggest game in the world, year in and year out. And so I think what Battlefield needs to do is, they're specialists at the large maps and such in the multiplayer space. I think what they need to do now is make some smaller maps as well as some larger maps and kind of mix and match, right? I think Firestorm for Battlefield is great. I love the Battle Royale, mode. As far as Battle Royales as a whole, I'm not a huge fan of the genre, guys. I love Warzone. I mean, of course I love Fortnite and games like that. It just, some of them got so advanced as far as, the building aspects in Fortnite and, just all of those things got so advanced that it kind of, made it not as fun for just a casual, Battle Royale player like myself. That being said, though, I think Battlefield should definitely continue what they started with Firestorm. Whether that mean making a completely new map, most likely is what they would do. But definitely having Battle Royale, adding some, continuously adding more and more game modes, I think is really important as well. So adding that, I think, is really important, guys. Having a Battle Royale, having your multiplayer where you're, having, small and larger maps. You also, of course, are going to have, co-op modes, hopefully, multiple different co-op modes that I can, play with my friends. I think that's something that Battlefield needs to continue with evolving, is really adding more and more for people to do with their friends other than just the multiplayer aspect, having other things that you can do like Call of Duty does, like Spec Ops or Zombies or, things of that nature that can really bring you back to the game over and over again. And so Battlefield, that being said, guys, I think that the next thing other than, Firestorm, having that full-blown campaign, I think is important. And then, the multiplayer modes, I definitely think it's important to have smaller maps, larger maps. I think that's really important. And look, I think at the end of the day, the vehicles are great, but I think having, some of the smaller maps with no vehicles, kind of like what Call of Duty does, I think that would be great. I really do. I think that you could really make some special types of game modes if you were to do that with Battlefield. But who knows? Maybe they don't want to go against, what's worked in the past. I just think that would be something. If I were, as far as, really engulfed into the Battlefield community, I would certainly want to see, them continue evolving over time. I think that's really important as well. And obviously, guys, Battlefield being an EA title, you don't really want to see the monetization schemes and things of that nature. I want to see more stuff that you earn. And I feel the same way with Call of Duty and all these other games. I want to see games where you got to earn stuff, and the things that you got to earn are like really cool items that makes you want to grind really hard. Like think about Halo and like Halo Reach. We're trying to get to Inheritor to get the skull helmet and such. Stuff like that, guys, were awesome. In Call of Duty, getting to the 10th prestige in Modern Warfare 2 and getting the gold medallion and such. Those were things that you wanted to work really hard for. And they don't really have anything like that anymore in a lot of the games nowadays. And so I want them to get back to that, and I hope they do that in Battlefield. But we'll have to kind of wait and see as we get closer. But with that, guys, let me know what it is that you all want to see in Battlefield 6. Are they kind of similar things to what I'm saying? Or are there completely other things that you guys want to see in the next continuation of the Battlefield franchise? Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Battlefield 6 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.